My name is State Representative Anna Eskamani. I am proud to serve this district in the Florida State Legislature. And I want to give a special thank you to Echo and to her colleagues who contacted my office as House Bill 1355 was scheduled for the State Affairs Committee. And Echo reached out expressing concerns about the bill. And so I immediately jumped into action. We reached out to both the Democratic and the Republican co-sponsors of this bill. And I expressed the concern coming from the Asian American community and of course specifically our Chinese Americans. And we hosted a meeting with the Representative Waldron on the bill to figure out what are the concerns and what needs to happen. And as we were having that debate, having that discussion, it became clear to me how problematic many parts of this bill is, especially when it comes to the ability for our immigrant community members and those of immigrant origin who identify as Asian American Pacific Islander to be treated the same as others. And for me, it's personal because my family is Iranian, and so I know what it's like when someone treats you differently, not because of who you are, but because where your family is from. And as much as I care about national security and appreciate the intent of trying to protect this country, there's a line between protection and discrimination that cannot be crossed. And this bill crosses that line. This bill creates an environment that even if you look Asian, you will be discriminated against. That if you're trying to buy a house, you will be asked, are you of Chinese national? And that type of question should not be happening when someone buys a house. And there are other approaches, definitions, and steps we can take to ensure national security without discriminating against everyday people, our small business owners, our kids who are already navigating a rise in rhetoric targeting the Asian American community. There's better steps we can take to protect national security while not villainizing a community of people. And so when we heard this bill in committee, I want to give just huge credit to everyone here because I don't think I've ever seen so many people testify against a bill. And it caught a lot of my colleagues off guard. They did not expect to see over 100 people in the committee room testify against this bill. They did not expect to see so many young voices speak against this bill, and it sent a clear message because though the bill passed that committee, several of us voted no, several of us who voted yes expressed concern, and it's been a week now where the bill has not moved. It has not moved, and that is in big part to everyone's advocacy here. And so I go back to Tallahassee tomorrow. I'm only in Orlando right now for about 36 hours. I came home at midnight this morning, and I go back tomorrow. And I want to just give you perspective on what could happen next, just so you have that knowledge, because knowledge is power and it helps you be a better advocate. So right now, this bill, a version of it already passed the Florida Senate, right? So you have two chambers, the Florida House and Florida Senate. So it already passed the Florida Senate, but it doesn't mean that's the permanent situation, because House Bill 1355, it still needs to go through the House floor, which means the entire House of 120 members still have to vote on this bill. And there's a situation where we run out of time and the bill dies. So, for example, the last day of session is this Friday. We have 1 week left in session. As soon as session's over, the bill's dead. If it didn't pass, we get ready to fight again next year, but for this year, nothing happens. I would call that a win. If the bill dies, that's a win. But in the next 5 days, the bill could also be scheduled for the House floor on Tuesday. It was not scheduled for Monday, but it could be scheduled for Tuesday. If it is scheduled for Tuesday, there's an opportunity that we amend the bill. So we change it, right? We make it less harmful. We address Section 7 of the bill, and we ensure that it's respecting national security without discriminating against people. And if we're successful in doing that, the Senate has to vote on it again. And so that would also be an opportunity for us to make the bill less harmful, to ensure that its intent of national security is respected, but it's not going to have these unintended consequences, right? So that would also be a win. Worst case scenario is that the bill passes and the Senate, since it already passed Senate Bill 264, we would pick up that version and pass that version, or the Senate takes 1355 and passes that one. But again, it's important to know what our options are, but I think that you have driven a really clear path for there to be strong concern and strong opposition, and that is only due to your advocacy. And so I want to say thank you for everything y'all have already done, for coming to Tallahassee, for organizing events like this, for talking to your loved ones, to helping folks understand why local politics matter. You know, we give so much attention to Washington and the White House, but right here in Florida, in Tallahassee, bills are passing that impact your daily life. This one probably feels more personal than others, but trust me, there are so many other issues that we see every single day that impact your taxes, that impact your roads, that impact water quality, air quality, affordable housing. And so I do ask that you continue to stay engaged. Don't let this be the one issue you're fighting on, right? Stay engaged. Make sure you are voting, you're registered to vote. Know your power as a community and that your contributions are valuable, and we need to hear your voice in the political process. Yes. And so with that, thank you so much for having me. I'm going to pass it back to Echo, but just thank you again. And I do have one.